Watch this. No way!
Hello and welcome back to episode 6 of the Cookie Jar Podcast. I am Tom Mills, and as always, I'm joined by Sam Williams.
Hello.
Sir Bruce Fitzpatrick.
Hello. Got to drop the sir, please.
And Carl Wing.
Hi, Carl.
Hello.
As always, if you guys want to get in touch, we've had some great feedback this week. You can get us on @CookieJarGolf on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, or you can send us an email. And I'm ecstatic to announce that for the next few days, I'm going to have a sparkling set of cleaned clubs.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
What's going on, Sam?
Well, it's been a good week. I mean, there's been a lot of golf binging, I think, across the board in this room, hasn't there? So, luckily, I've got down to Porthcawl twice in the space of the last week. Wife wasn't delirious about that.
How was work? How did they...
Work's okay. Work's coping with it. I mean, I think they've kind of resigned themselves to the fact that work's very much a hobby and that golf is very much a job to me. So that sort of balance of power is going well. So yeah, Porthcawl has been awesome. Cal, you've been out and about, haven't you?
Absolutely, yeah. I was down at Rawsing Ports, a.k.a. Deal, last weekend.
Nice.
Which was, despite the wind and a bit of rain, it was just, it was great fun. 4 of us went down and... we can dive into that a little bit more shortly. But overall, pretty good. And had a game up at the club yesterday, which was great. And bit of a friendly game, albeit on temps, but good fun.
And Bruce, you've been out in Southern Hemisphere, back from training camp, rejoining the pod.
Yeah, just a little brief 4 or 5 day training camp. No, holiday, really, out in South Africa with my parents. So it was nice to play a couple of courses out there in shorts and try and get the... white boundary stakes tanning a little bit early. And then, sadly back to law school last Monday and, brutally reminded of what it's like playing golf in the winter. Yesterday, where I played against the Artisans Golfing Society, or Golfing Association rather, down at Temple.
Wow.
Which was quite interesting. Aquaplaning, chip shots and all
Were you
sorts
consciously
in the
aquaplaning
puddles.
it? Were you trying to? Or?
Well, it was just, you're just hitting shots there into puddles that were maybe 10, 15, 20 feet away from the pin or whatever, and then watch it just rocket 30 yards over the back of the green. But, just grateful to be out on the golf course, to be honest.
And we're going to get on to some of the activity that's happened on the week in the pro game as well, with the Honda Classic and the Oman Open. Sam has briefly flipped over why my clubs are sparkling clean.
Okay, I tried to deflect. So let me talk. let me talk a little bit about... So Porthcawl went down Saturday and Sunday last weekend for the Wales France game, and got to play Saturday. We didn't play Sunday because the weather was biblical. I got absolutely blown off the course then, and then went back down on Thursday, Friday with a crowd of pals. Obviously, Tom being one of those. So yeah, I mean, it was insanely difficult, Porthcawl. I mean, before we talk about why Tom's got clean clubs, the course over the winter has had a renovation like none other. So Martin Ebert, who's the kind of prominent architect who consults with the R&A, and particularly the open rotor courses, he's probably very famous for places like Turnberry. He's done a huge amount of work over the winter with Hoylake. Porthcawl's had a massive improvement. I mean, it's so much tougher off the tee. These bunkers that they've dropped in the space of 3 or 4 months honestly look like they've been there over 100 years. It's incredible.
The last time I went down to Porthcawl was in December, early December. So I've had 2 months, 2.5 months maybe since I've been down, and they hadn't started the renovation in December. And I went down a couple of days ago, and they genuinely look like they'd been there forever. It's just incredible what they've done with the place.
Such an improvement. If anyone gets a chance to go and play there, just take our word on it. It's a special place. Hosting the Ladies Open as well this year. So I mean, that's going to be tough. It's going to be great. I mean, it was a massive leap forward.
And what they actually did spectacularly well, I thought, is that all the holes that you kind of had a bailout line on, that you could be, if I hit it well enough, I can hit it down the left because I know it might be in the light rough or whatever, but it's a decent line in. Every single place that you could have a bailout, they've just improved with bunkering, or
you've just got to be so much more targeted off the tee.
I mean, now you've got to be accurate. You've got to be long. It's It's just such a good track, and they've done a really good job of fixing it up.
It was a great course even before the changes. So yeah, I'd be excited to see how it's become even better as a result of these new bunkering kind of renovations and just making the tee shots a little bit tougher. It sounds awesome.
So it's me and Mills have this little bet every time we play together. So if we either play in a group together, because a lot of the time it's roll-up golf, you might be playing together, you might not. If we're in that group, we'll play for a club clean. And if we play in a competition, not playing with each other, the score in the comp will also carry that forward for a club clean. So I think I was actually in debt before the trip started anyway. So I kind of already needed to clean the clubs from running at the medal or something like that in January. And you played really well, actually. I played like a complete knob.
Well, the weather down at Porthcawl was windy. So during that course of that 18 holes, I've taken a full 9-iron for an 84-yard shot. And I've taken a full 9-iron for a 170-yard shot. It was just absolutely...
It was comedy stuff.
Howling.
You chopped it around in decent number. You got about
I was doing all right.
28 points. So for
Really, that's how tough
Americans
it
who
was.
don't play point format too much, that's like, what's that, 8 over handicap, which I think... Off the tips in that wind was, that's a great knock. And, I think I'm just about notched up double digits in that time. So
For a Welshman on a Welsh course, that's
Well, I
pretty
got
good
a lot.
effort.
I got a lot Welsh when I was down there. I tell you. I was giving it the Kirsty, how you doing?
you just had the stereophonics blazing through the AirPods the entire
Can
way
I have a
around.
brains essay, please?
Is that Kirsty or Mafanwy?
Sorry, my fanry. It wasn't my fanry. But no, it was absolutely. What Sam has quickly discovered is swinging in the wind. It's just a different game, isn't it?
It's so hard. And the thing is, I thought last weekend took a bit of cash down there, had a really nice weekend, great match, and actually hit the ball brilliant off the tee. Irons felt nice, and thought I've got the wind cracked. Just take all the power out of it. Try and take the hands out, turn the body.
Couple of two-fingered swings, as you say.
Just a little 2-finger 5-iron, and just just send it in soft. Takes all the spin off it.
Finger in the air when it's breezy, swing easy.
That was what I was thinking. Played like a complete chopper. Highlight was when we got about 4 sort of scratch golfers in the group in front, just walking down the 18th. And that kind of the 17th a par 5 that plays into the green. So the 18th, they tee back down towards the clubhouse. So they're walking past, they've got all the sort of bags, all the head covers, they've just striped 4 down the middle. I've got like a little... I was playing right downwind, so I had like a nothing iron into the par 5 17th. Missed the green. I've got the most mundane of sort of 20-yard chip shots. Complete hosel rocket. It's gonna hit this kid in the ankle.
Oh, no.
For a 4 handicapper, you're really beating yourself up here.
Not good. Felt shaky. Felt very, very shaky. But anyways, I mean the wind and links has been an education the last week. So
There's a hole at Porthcawl, which is the way the members play it is their 16th. I never can quite work out when the pros play it. Do you add one or take one away? They start on 18.
It's the 17th in the pro tournament.
So it's the 17th. And in the, was it the Walker Cup when Tiger just sort of carried it with a cheeky 2-iron? And like for the average golfer, you stand there on the tee and you think, that is a long
Well, no one would ever go for
long
it.
way away with a
I
drive.
mean-
But, you did clear it though, downwind.
Yeah, I mean 40 mile an hour down breeze, but
Oh, the bunkers on 16.
Yeah, I
this
think-
is, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I
Tiger's
do
gone
just
straight
think
over it.
the wind just gets to that level where you're like, my golf swing is getting significantly worse as a result
Well, I
of playing
find it
in this.
ruins your game, doesn't it?
well,
for
yeah.
that?
I mean, there's a reason why Padraig Harrington, who I must say I respect, 3-time major winner, what a player, but there's a reason why his swing is so, ugly on the iron, I think. And that's because he grew up playing so much links golf when he was younger. And you've just got to, you've got to get a bit short and a bit faster. And it's just hard, isn't it? Maintaining a good tempo.
I think part of the problem is that, like every ounce of your golfing brain is telling you need to swing easy because that's how you're going to get the ball to penetrate less spin, get through the wind. But then when you're faced with a 460-yard par 4 into the teeth of a 40-mile-an-hour wind, you're like, I don't really want to swing easy. I'm never going to get there. It's going to take me to par 7.
I don't know. I quite enjoy it. I think, I was, same weekend. Last weekend was down at Royal St. Port's Deal and the same story. It was something like at least 35 miles an hour on the Saturday, and the Sunday was probably the windiest conditions I've ever played in. I think it was getting up to 50, 55, and it was just
You almost can't play in that, can you?
Oh no, the ball was almost oscillating on the greens. It was that bad. We sort of thought we were going to have to call in a referee, but sadly no one was out there.
You've been waiting a while.
So what were you doing? A bit of a foursomes joust down there, was it? Is it?
Yeah, so it's very much a 2-ball course. So yeah, foursomes, 2 games, Saturday morning and Saturday PM, with a decent lunch in between. Course was pretty busy. There were various trials going on for various things, and it was good. It was a competitive game. Luckily, I was on the winning side of both matches. We managed to tie it up 2-1.
Playing for a bit of cash?
There was a bit of cash, yeah.
I'm interested to know, how much is too much cash
I
to
think
play
it's
over and go? Because that's why we were talking about it in the week. I quite like playing for a club clean because you invariably get into the situation where you're handing the same £10 or £20 note backwards and forwards between people. And apart from being unhygienic with the latest coronavirus issues we've got, you've also kind of got this whole, kind of, I don't know, just playing for money just becomes a bit sort of objective really in some ways. So, Cal, is there like a glass ceiling to how much cash you play for?
Yeah, I mean, for the weekend, we just put in 20 quid a man. And to be honest, that 20 quid a man goes straight into the pro shop. So you basically have 20 quid to put towards whatever you want. So it's, I actually got a woolly hat.
Oh, nice.
Little RCP woolly hat, which was a nice
size?
touch. It's actually quite small. So for that,
restricting the blood flow a little
for
bit.
our listeners, it's
Like a skull cap.
I'm sort of towering at 6'5", and it's a big head and big shoulders.
How much VAT have you put on that?
20%, so it probably takes me back to 6'3".
6'2.5".
Yeah, that sounds a bit more accurate.
6'2.5", 6'3".
And so, Bruce, I mean, I'm going to, without giving you a big head as well as Cal here,
Mate, mine's already massive. I'm a member of the five head club, sure.
And the 5'8" club, yeah. So,
hang on.
So, you obviously conquered down at Rye. That was a massive week for you. We don't want to go back over that in too much detail as much as you would like to. The wind was up, I'm guessing, quite a bit during that week. What kind of swing tips for our kind of other enthusiasts out there like myself who just can't get around into 30 mile an hour plus wind?
Good question. What did I think about? It got really windy on the Saturday, so the penultimate day, and then the Sunday morning was quite bad. And I had a weird one, but I think it kind of makes sense when I explain it, or hopefully it makes sense, which was just trying to feel like I kept the weight more, I don't know.
On your left side.
More in the heels, like as I was
Yeah.
swinging down, like through impact. I think it's very easy for me to get too far out on my toes, and then especially when you throw wind into that as well, it's quite easy to just get a bit out of balance, and you can early extend a bit or just come out of the shot. And it's funny, like when I was down there, just coincidentally, I was reading this quote from Jack Nicklaus or Johnny Miller, who said that it's possible to stand too close to the golf ball, but no one ever does. And I think particularly in wind, like it's so easy to just get out on your toes, you get a little bit off balance. And so for me, I just focused on trying to stay a bit more grounded, stay a bit lower to the ground, and just make sure like I kind of felt it probably wasn't the case that I was getting the weight in the heels of my feet, but just felt a bit more like that. And just it was a little bit easier to stay balanced and make those kind of easier swings. So,
and DJ stands a bit closer to it, doesn't he, when he wants to hit it lower? I seem to remember.
Yeah,
he doesn't know why.
He does. Yeah, and I'm not sure whether I do either, to be honest. But it works. I think well, it certainly works in his case.
I actually quite enjoy the wind. Even last weekend when it was just mental at certain points. There's something about just, I don't know, I'll probably play quite a lot of it, but I do enjoy just, I mean, you do go down to the 3/4 swing, and yeah, the one thing I do is I like to keep my weight a little bit left side, ball a little bit further back in the stance, slightly open stance as well. And just sort of, and get that trapping feeling, and just
I invariably find
keeping it
if
under
I
the
try
wind.
and do that trap that I get sort of unwanted draw. Like it's a pulley draw. If I
sounds
try
like you
and trap
flip.
it.
You're flipping it.
Like rotation through impact, that sort of.
Some sort of transverse effect going on.
For the benefit of our listeners,
Just
we are actually just climbing into Bruce's obscene level of swing chat here, I think.
Well, what's happened there, Tom, is your pivots just, slowed down a little bit. Arms have taken over, and you've just, overtaking rates crept up, and you've just pulled it left a little
Easy
bit.
mistake.
But what I found with the wind this weekend particularly, which is the first time I've ever experienced this, is I've rolled a putt up on the 8th hole, and I've watched it break past the hole. I've gone maybe 2-3 feet past, and I've watched it break left to right as it goes past the hole. So I get up there, and I'm feeling pretty confident. I know what it's going to do. It's just going to set it off right lip and firm or whatever. Set it off right lip, and the wind is coming so hard off the left. It's just broke up the hill, and you just look and thought, How
Defied
how are you
gravity,
supposed to
hasn't
play
it?
Yeah,
golf?
that's when it gets nuts, isn't it? When balls start breaking in the opposite direction to the slope, and you're just like, what? What is this?
It's so tough, but I mean, it's definitely very raw. It's very enjoyable. Like,
Part of the challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and everyone's on the same
Embrace
golf
it.
course, aren't they? That's the same. You know, whenever anyone moans about the golf course, any golf course, and any, you know, even when it's pro level or our level, when they say, oh, you know, the greens are shit, the same greens for everybody, weren't they? It's the same
Yeah.
conditions for everybody.
It's just like the par goes up, really, is probably the way of looking at it. And it's like if on a perfect still day, the par of Porthcawl or our course is, 70 or 71 or 72, or whatever it is, you throw in a 30-mile-an-hour wind or greens that maybe aren't quite at their best, and that just means for everyone on that day, you just play it as a 76 or a 78 or whatever. It's the same for everyone, as you
so
said.
what was the wind like in South Africa?
Oh, yeah.
A mouse's fart, I imagine.
Yeah, it was. I mean, there was a little bit actually on one of the days, which made it really. I found it really challenging at times because the
Balls
course
in
is
the
out
water?
there. Well,
Balls in the water.
well, there's not really water around. It was just like, I don't know, like shrubland or waste areas, but with like big high bushes in. There weren't many parallel fairways. I think you get a lot of parallel fairways in the UK. So if you do bin one, you might, you should find it. It's like our 12th hole or 16th hole. If you completely bin one right,
really
you're
bad
fine.
one actually gets better
Yeah.
than the bad one. Yeah.
But out there, there was just none of that. Each hole was almost like its own kind of bit of land.
Ecosystem.
Yeah. And so it was just, whenever the wind got up, it was just so intimidating to hit driver there. But yeah, I mean, it was a reality check
It
coming
must
back,
have been
coming
so
back
hard
here.
playing golf in
I
a
know.
t-shirt. Oh, God.
Yeah.
I don't know. We haven't got the violin soundtrack loaded on the pod yet, but we could probably work on it for the next one. A little bit of pop trivia. So, anyone know what happens 4 weeks today? For anyone listening, this was recorded on the first Sunday of March.
Masters week.
Oh, clocks. No.
Not 4 weeks. Since when's the Masters been played in the
It's
It's
in
early,
March?
early April.
Clocks.
It's
Clocks
definitely
go
clocks.
forward,
Yeah.
which means we come out of winter. We start to get the evenings back, which means 9-hole golf in the evenings back on the table.
Can someone tell the Storms they can fuck off then?
Well, we're just going to trust that warmer weather's going to start to compensate and some of this rain will give over.
Are we in the spring? Is it 1st of March officially the first day of spring, or have I just got that spot off?
Blue skies today. I don't know. We could go with that.
I would
Yeah.
say we're edging into spring, certainly. I mean, we're out of winter, aren't we? What's spring to me is March, April, early May. And then we start
May.
getting
I
into
mean,
summer.
May is not spring, mate. May,
I mean,
surely.
We've got a
that's
load
gotta
of
be-
American
gotta
listeners
be
who probably don't know
summer.
what we're talking about here. So maybe they do. I don't know. I don't think America changes its clocks.
Yeah.
But we obviously, for the benefit of anyone who doesn't know, we change our clocks twice a year. So obviously it goes forward, which gives us better daylight in the evening. Traditionally, they're to protect.
They not have that.
No, it was always done in the. It goes back to the olden days where the winter you would have had the mornings would have been so dark. So in previous, like when we were dependent on agriculture, you had to have better light in the morning so people could go out and farm the land. So obviously that then corrects that sort of what was previously there over the winter, which then starts to put back, luckily, the ability to do 9 holes in the evening, although I think it was very much a secondary impact rather than the course.
Do you think when they were thinking about saving summer savings time, they thought, how do we get 9 holes out of this in the evening?
I'd like to think people were thinking about us.
How are they going to finish work and still manage to get 9 in?
But it's good fun. It's nice. And that means when we get through that, we're starting heating up into the Masters, we're into the major season. And I think,
Well, we got the players first.
Oh yeah, that's 2 and a bit weeks, is it? Hang on, we got the Honda this. No, we got the Honda this week.
Honda this week.
Then we got Arnie's place, Bay Hill,
Yeah.
Bay Hill. There's one more as well. Oh, no, hang on.
and then
Yeah.
is it the players?
March
after
12th.
that? Wow,
Shit, that's going to come around.
that's gonna
it's
be
gonna come
that'll be a
quickly.
big one.
Final day of that, 2 weeks.
Any picks for that, Sam Leishman? Gonna?
No, I don't think it's going to suit Leishman. I don't know. Fowler doesn't mind Florida.
I mean, he struggled this week, hasn't
He
he?
struggled like mad this week, but his record round the PGA is incredible. And, he had that. He's won the players before, I think, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. He had that famous played
Hole-
the last
hole in one,
4
yeah, got
holes
it
in
stiff.
4 under or
Yeah.
something, and then birdied 17 twice in the playoff, I think.
I'm going to throw it back to an earlier shout I made in a previous pod, and I think I quite fancy Joe Ogilvy.
Joe Ogilvy,
Yeah.
second
he
greatest
just-
major
exactly.
player
Does
of all
does
time.
he get an exemption or?
Yeah, I think he's played in it before, so I think they've just given him a, come on, Joe.
Well, he's Mr. Consistent, isn't he? He's guaranteed to make the cut and probably finish at least 2 or 3 under.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what? I think I'm going to go with Fleetwood as an early shout. He's
Oh,
trending.
on Fleetwood. Yeah, we've got an interesting stat, haven't we? Which you
So he's
made
got
us all aware of,
he's
didn't you,
got
Sam? Do you want to
Well, yeah, I mean,
tell us about that?
shout out to Justin Ray for the material. I can't say this is my own work. He's got the longest cut streak on tour at the moment across the PGA. So he was at 32. Obviously, he's now leading going into the final day over in Florida. He's now 33 cuts on the spin, but if you wind that back in time, the last time he missed a cut was in France in 2018.
Really?
Yeah.
Consistency personified.
That's incredible. Now, second place behind him, Colin Morikawa, who's on 20 cuts.
He's only just started though.
Exactly. You're like, what?
Yeah. That takes some doing, doesn't it, really? I mean, if you didn't have Tiger to, kind of distort the, I don't know, ranking or the measure of what a really good cut streak is.
So he's basically made his first 20 cuts as a pro.
I think pretty much. I mean, I'd have to go back and look at the specific ones, but I suspect maybe he missed one early doors or something, but pretty much he's nailing it now.
And in third place is Bruce's favourite swing. Webb.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Webb on
18.
18.
God. Yeah.
And
There is
Fitzpatrick
nothing
on 17.
you would teach anybody about that swing.
So Fleetwood's got a long way to go to catch the recognised all-time PGA Tour mark. His current streak is a mere 110 short of Tiger's 142 in a row that he managed. But great showing nonetheless in Florida. This place is a tough track. So they play
Scores are very high, aren't they?
second hardest last year they played on the PGA Tour. Second
Non-major.
only to China.
Non-major.
Yeah, sorry, second hardest non-major. You're right.
But there has been some huge names that have missed the cut. So we've got, the cut was at +3 for Honda. We've got Fowler and Matt Wallace on 4 over.
Fowler's always enjoyed a good time in there.
Yeah, I mean, and he needed an eagle on the last, didn't he? He gave a good fist of it. Came away with a birdie, but Justin Rose at 6 over, Koepka at 8 over, Louis Oosthuizen at 9, Victor Hovland at 10, and thank you to Matt Every, who is giving every amateur in the world just a little glimmer of hope of coming in at 19 over for 2 days. Everyone can have a bad day.
And it's
All
I
bad
find
2
this
days.
all very refreshing. I mean, it's good. It's quite nice to see the guys not at 20 under for one.
Yeah, it's really good watch, isn't it? And I especially like, it's proper. It just reminds me of European golf, and I know this is just like probably biased, but really battling against par. The whole field came backwards yesterday. I think Tommy was 2 under, but
Look, the numbers don't lie, do they? But it doesn't look like the hardest course that they play outside of the majors. Now you've played the PGA National, haven't you?
Yeah.
What was your thoughts?
I actually thought when I played it, it was very generous. So going back to what Bruce says about parallel fairways, it's all on a complex, and the complex itself at PGA National's got 5 courses, and they're all, or the majority of them are Tom Fazio design, but it's all on a complex. And if you take Wayne Riley did a piece on Sky about the 6th hole, which is after the 5th. 5th is a really long par 3 over water, and the 6th is a long par 4 with water down the left. Now, when you play that hole at the PGA, you look at that water down the left, and you're like, well, yeah, that's quite intimidating. But actually, the whole world is to the right, because if you miss the fairway, and there's another fairway about 15 yards to the right of it, and you can just blast it towards those traps on the right. And if you push it a little bit, you're on another fairway, and you've got you got no problem shotting. I thought it was very generous. I thought
It's not strange, and yet the way it translates on tour I guess maybe they turn the greens up about another 7 shots.
And it looks a bit windy as well, actually.
Yeah.
I mean,
what the difference is when we played it, the greens were fairly receptive, and the greens there just look like rock.
They're like tabletops.
They're not getting any grab on that at all, which I think is the biggest equaliser in pro golf.
yeah, for sure.
All in one for Grayson as well yesterday.
Did he show off about it much? Do you reckon?
It was
He was
possibly
one
the
step away from
greatest
the Happy
celebration
Gilmore.
I've ever seen.
I haven't
In
seen
golf.
this yet. What happened?
Oh, he was one step away from mounting the club and giving it the horse down the fairway.
It's a 150-yard golf hole. Grayson Murray's drained a wedge.
He's a cat. To be fair, Grayson Murray's a great character, so he was always going to go big.
Yeah, exactly. And it's one of those stadium holes. And it's at the time in the day where everyone's probably got about 7 or 8 sort of, Michelob Ultras in them. Everyone's sort of fired up and wanting to see it happen. But 150 yards, he's got to walk around the water because it's a shot completely over the drink. he's got to do about 200 yards of celebration. The hat came off and was thrown, I think, at least 4 or 5 times. I honestly thought he was going to
really
swim to
wanted
the
the
green
crowd
at
to
one
have
point. It was insane.
Dive into the lake and just do like a victory lap.
It would have been the pure Happy Gilmore. It would have been the
It
original.
was very, very close to
And he
it.
had a hockey shirt on. It would have been there.
It was right at the end of the bear trap. It was 17. Yeah, it was a quality celebration. But that's what you want to see, is a bit more personality on tour.
Did he miss the cut, or has he gone on and made it?
Well, he was 1 over when he made it.
No, he's
what did he
1
mind,
over. He's made the cut. He's
Okay.
kind of he's
Yeah.
bringing in some cash this week. I want to just jump to Brooks as well. We're starting to get near to his time of the year. I don't know what people's thoughts are. Obviously, back from the injury.
I think my thoughts is, a year ago you looked at Brooks and you thought, mate, he's shredded. Now he looks a little bit frumpy. He looks like,
Yeah.
not being able to train, maybe.
Fucking arms are still huge.
I mean, we are all about body positivity here in this podcast. But yeah, I agree with you. He does look different physically. He looks a little bit larger. And I'm pretty sure his old personal trainer, Joey D, I don't know what his surname is, but yeah,
That's what they
just,
call him.
he just goes by Joey D, doesn't he? Was the one who like got him into shape and, you know, got him to sort of trim down a little bit, which is when he started playing really, really well. I mean, obviously there was that stuff about doing the Sports Illustrated shoot around about the time of the Masters last year, which everyone said that's crazy self-sabotage, I think in Brandel Chambly's words. And he ended up, you know, coming second and then just doing really well at the other majors too. So yeah, I think there could be some mileage to what you say there, Mills, about, you know, he's sort of changed physique and that maybe
Well,
not.
I wonder whether he's had the injury and he's just like, look, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to hit balls. I don't want to train. I just need to take time off, and that's maybe why it's affected him.
Yeah, he's definitely lost a bit of that swag and that arrogance that he had first time around. But it's obviously had a big impact on his golf.
Well, he's now working a little bit with Cowan, isn't he?
Apparently he's been working with Pete Cowan for a while, yeah, certainly on the short game side of things. But then,
And Cowan did an interview yesterday, and
That was quite a good interview, actually.
and he gave it Brooks is he taken on all of Butch's stable, Cowan? Because he was talking about
He's mainly short
Gary-
game coach, I thought, isn't he, Karen? Or,
I've heard that he's a really modest guy and he actually coaches a lot more players than people
well, he was
know.
he was
but
talking
Claude
about
Harmon III is obviously very vocal about the players that he coaches. So that's maybe why there's some confusion over how much of Brooks's success and swing is actually being coached by Claude Harmon, because I think the reality is that the lion's share of it is being done by
Are
Pete.
they in this together? Do we know, or are they two separate entities that they?
I don't think Pete does JVs on the swing coaching side of things. It'll be very much you with me or you're not.
You think?
He's not going to share philosophies with
And
Claude Harmon.
so Pete
is he?
Cowan's like really sort of honest about it. He was like, he's staying with Brooks this weekend in Florida. He's going to go back there. He's going to talk to him about the mental side of the game. Obviously, been working a lot in his short game. He attributed a lot of his success to the work that he'd done there. So I don't know. Maybe one of these, you know, success has many different fathers, doesn't it? And maybe that's partly what we're seeing there. I don't know.
Really
He's been-
interesting
he's been-
talk about Pete Cowan saying that not many golfers know how to use the bounce. And he's talking about Gary Woodland, and he was saying, you know, Gary is an excellent golfer, but when he came to me, he was a 1 out of 10 chipper. You know, I've made him into a 3 out of 10. He's won a US Open.
And that chip shot he hit on the 17th of the US Open, I mean, he definitely used the bounce well on that one, because
Exactly.
otherwise he'd be taking up a huge pound of turf off that green. But yeah, I think Pete Cowan, he coaches a lot of players short game, so maybe Claude Harmon III did Brooks's long game up until last year. I don't know. It's all very guarded, isn't it? No one really knows.
Do you think he'll get
who's
it
doing
back
what.
for players, or certainly at the latest Augusta? What do you think?
You never say never. Yeah, I think deep down he's able to just sort of draw on that
thing is about-
energy and draw on those
thing is about
reserves.
Brooks,
Isn't he?
I'm happy to be corrected by someone with superior knowledge to this, but he was never big on winning normal PGA events. He just sort of bowled in on the majors and won them. And then, like,
He's
then
training
he
as a
just-
practice round. I'm
Yeah.
surprised he hasn't dropping other balls around the green just to sort of reload on chips.
Well,
It's really irrelevant to him.
Well, Cal probably knows this better than I do, but I'm pretty sure like it's the CJ Cup that he won, and then the WGC St Jude, and I'm pretty sure those are like the only. Even the WGC is not necessarily a regular season event, but those are the only two non-majors he's won on the PGA Tour. Is that right?
In Brooks. Yeah, probably PGA wise. He won quite. I can't remember which one it was. He won quite early on, probably 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, the waste management.
That was it. Yeah, he won the waste management. But apart from that, obviously he was a bit of a serial winner on the Challenge Tour. So moved very quickly onto the European Tour.
I love the way he played the European Tour. Like he probably earned his stripes, didn't he, Brooks? He went and did the hard yards. He wasn't just like pampered his way through college golf or whatever. He really
learned how to shout four as well by playing in Europe, which sadly a lot of the American guys still don't do.
And you think I'm ruining our American listenership?
Huh? No, I'm not saying the American listeners. I'm just saying the less American tour players, PGA Tour, are definitely not as hot on shouting four, which any sane person would know that you should definitely shout four if you're carving one into a gallery.
Just to wrap it up on Brooks. So Brooks has won more major tournaments than he has PGA stock standard tour events. So his 3 wins have come in: Phoenix Waste Management 2015, CJ Cup 2018, and as you say, Bruce, the WGC FedEx St Jude July last year. So.
I think from memory, his last win on the European Tour was something like the Turkish Airlines Open, and I think that sort of transcended him, or certainly helped transcend him onto PGA Tour, and then obviously the rest is history.
Isn't Poulter, didn't he? Beaten by a shot, I think, in 2014.
Isn't Chase Koepka still on the European Tour?
Or Challenge Tour, perhaps.
Challenge Tour.
I'm not sure. Maybe he might be full European Tour now.
Without making this all about Brooks, I just want to say I think it's great to see so many English guys at the top of the leaderboard this week. So
Lee Westwood.
Lee Westwood's brilliant.
He's properly made a resurgence, hasn't he?
Just looks so happy out there as well. Like, I know you kind of, obviously we're not close to Lee personally in terms of day to day, but you just get a feeling that he's just loving life, and that's starting to transcend into really good golf performances.
And his putting has definitely gone up. Like, so his putting is so much stronger than it used to be. Like he was on the 10th or the 11th on the Saturday that he got out of position, short sided, and he did a European style bump and run up the hill, left himself maybe 15, 18 feet, and just knocked it in, move on, regulation par, move on. I mean, that part of his game is so much more solid than it used to be.
Yeah, I actually would go out on a limb and say I fancy him for a major this year. I think what you've said there, Sam, you've hit the nail on the head. He just seems interesting.
Out there.
And I don't think the expectation. I think expectation's a fickle thing, and if you're expected, like he was during the prime years of his career, to win a major, that can actually be quite a heavy burden. And now it's like, I'll go skiing, mid-season. I don't need to practice as much.
His wife on the bag, that must just be nice. Like no time away from home so much. And I don't know. Last time we were at St George's, another kind of
Darren Clark.
Darren Clark. No one thought Darren Clark would have come even close going into that week, and came out on top. So I think there's probably a lot of truth in that. I think also Luke Donald, not someone you're used to seeing at the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, that's good.
Great to have him up there, especially as one of the big thing at the moment, being one of the short hitters on tour. He's just showing that it can still be done.
His Saturday performance at the Honda was genuinely, it was really worth a watch, because he was hitting it all over the map. He couldn't get it on the fairway, and he still managed to scrap it around and stay in contention.
Short game masterclass, isn't it? That's where he's phenomenal. And what surprised me more is probably the fact that he hasn't been in contention in a long, long time. And
he had a big layoff with injury, didn't he?
Yeah, but it's great to see him sort of hold that mental side together as well and keep it going. And he's an Englishman, so I think tonight will be a great watch.
Oman?
Yeah, well, it's ongoing, day 4. So
just seems a battle.
Your personal hero's up there, isn't he, Cal?
Oh, Colsaerts is just the dude. I mean,
can you explain for our listeners why you have a poster of him above your bed?
I wish I did.
If
I wish I did. Actually, well,
I've got a little picture in the wallet.
I've met him. Had the pleasure. I've had the pleasure a couple of times. I have actually got a couple of photos with him. Which maybe I should get one of those blown up. And
with DJ Colsaerts.
DJ Colsaerts. Oh, he's a character. He's just a good lad, and he's got some great chat. And he's the sort of guy you wanna play golf with, really.
And this youngster Rasmus Højgaard. Mate, he's looking something a bit special, isn't he? 18 years old, already 1 win under his belt, and he's up there now, somewhere around the leaderboard today.
Scary thing is he's got a twin brother who, I think he just missed out on his tour card last season, so I think he's down a peg on the Challenge Tour. But God, I think a couple of years' time, if those boys are both on tour, could be pretty serious, and it'd probably be pretty hard to tell who's who because they are literally identical.
But we've got a very very good track record at the moment of calling people for winners that
we've got
absolutely
a jump and that's why I'm saying nothing about Fleetwood beyond his cut streak, because I think let's just let this whole thing.
I don't think we've picked the winner yet.
Mate, I called Adam Scott at Riviera a few weeks ago. So yeah.
Okay. So at least we've got someone
Saying that,
shout out to Adam.
Just as we mentioned Cole Sarts, I think he's bogeyed the 15th, and I think he's sadly 4 back, so I think he might be done there. But
I think anybody we like now, we need to make it an active sort of conscious effort to not talk about their golf when they're playing, because
when they're playing,
we are just absolutely hoaxing everybody. But we like to stay on topical news as well with what's going on in the world of certainly European golf. We all read up on Martin Slumbers.
Well, I haven't read this.
Yeah, so he's the chief. Oh, do you know him, Bruce?
No, I know of him. I saw the link that you posted about him saying that golf clubs need to do more to entice membership.
So the quote was 10 million golfers, casual golfers in the UK. So that's where they've worked out through people who have play pitch and putts, that are going and doing sort of really casual style golf, sometimes just pay and play, whatever. They found some stats that there are 10 million casual golf members and only 1 million people who are members of golf clubs. So he's saying that in his opinion, now I find this as sort of a juxtaposition of opinion really, that the golf courses, golf clubs are not doing enough to attract. They're not providing the right product, and he suggests perhaps more pitch and putts, more par threes, more casual style golf wear.
It goes back to what we were saying last week with the whole municipal thing and
but I think
everything else.
What are the R&A like in terms of people turning up in jeans? I mean, it's so hard.
I think the jeans is a punchy thing.
I think that there's some truth in what he's talking about
Absolutely.
Format, size of course. I think time's always precious. Is there space for something beyond an 18-hole par 72 format for golf to enjoy on a regular basis? And I think the answer to that's yes. I don't know. I mean, I think the dress code's an interesting one. I don't think it stops people who want to play the game, but that's just my personal opinion. I think there's some need to have that in certain aspects of the game, but also you go back to our conversation about the Glasgow Municipals the other week, and there are a lot of courses up and down the land that have honesty boxes, and people go out in swim shorts and jeans and t-shirts and half a dozen clubs that they found in the attic and enjoy themselves for a whole summer long. So I think his point is right. I think it feels like a problem statement, not a solution. Would be my challenge back.
I think that if you're the head of the R&A and you're saying that we need to be a bit more casual the approach, it's got to be top down. You can't expect some club down the road to say, yeah, okay, well the R&A guy said it, so let's start people wearing jeans. It's just not going to happen from the bottom. I mean, I'm not saying. Is he
saying people should be wearing jeans, or what's he actually saying? Because I don't know whether it's just necessarily about golf and the attire that we play golf in being more casual, or maybe just being a bit more inventive and some solutions that are a little bit less onerous time-wise for young professionals who've got young families and want to try and play. I don't know.
I've got a direct quote here. So Slumbers says that clubs need to change their approach, giving examples of how non-traditional clubs featuring coffee shops, short par threes, and no dress codes are busy, and we need to change to be the same.
I think it's one we probably need to kick around for a bit longer and try and think of. But as I say, I stand by it. Problem statement, not a solution. And I think the key things: how do we answer the problem? I don't think anyone disagrees.
Anyway, before we wrap up for today, anyone want to death curse anybody in the Honda?
I don't. I think it's again exciting. I'm looking forward to Arnold Palmer next weekend. I seem to remember Fitzpatrick went pretty close there last year. I wonder if he might do the same again. I think that's going to be a good tournament. Great prelude for the players, which is really starting to get exciting then. And I've got to also say we just recorded our first guest podcast, so that is not going out live yet. That's going to come out just before Masters weekend. We have got someone who is playing in the Masters this year. I think it's going to be a fantastic pod. We've got a lot planned, and yeah, so I'm very excited.
It went down well. I think it's going to be very tasty, that one.
Yeah.
Anyway, get your sticks out, play some golf, enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you next time.
Go low.
Thank you. Cheers.
Adios.
Watch this.